Welcome to the nerdy phase. That intro just gets me so hype. I don't know what it is. If you're watching the video and you want to see anything, you want to make me change to the intro, give me some suggestions out there. But I like the song. I like the way it does. It's really retro. So you know. But anywho, you know. So today's just uh Tom and I. Yeah, you got Tom here. He's out there doing his thing. Is always just existing now. No, more than existing actually. Then
hmm
there's me. You got Serge. I'm out there as always, rocking the tradition. You've seen this shirt before. This was the first episode I ever did with Tom, so let's clap our hands because Tom has been on there since then. I think it was the shirt that hooked him. I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no, I was I
fusion.
was I was aroused. Couldn't handle not
um,
coming back.
but we're just going for a yellow theme. So if you're watching those videos, watching a little thing there in my background, I got Gengar. I think Gengar did Sleepy Time or whatever that sleep move is on what the Pokemon do. But now he's gonna do Dreameater tonight, so you watch out. You think Gengar's nice? Look up evil
He's
Pokemon.
evil. We talked about
Gengar's
that.
pretty evil.
Go check out
Oh
our
yeah,
previous episodes.
that's right. But anywho, let's begin like we always do. What nerdy thing have we done this week? Uh, You go first. I did first last week, so why not?
Oh, let's see. So not really nerdy. Well, I guess the most nerdy thing is Evan and I started watching The Last Airbender on Netflix. I'll get into more opinions and stuff here in a bit, but we've been doing about one episode a night so far. So we're on an episode. We just finished episode 4, so we're going to hit episode 5 tomorrow night, and we'll probably be finished
You're
by the
ahead
end of
of
the
me.
week.
I'm
Yes,
on
there's
episode
that.
3.
Not really nerdy, but went ice skating with the boys yesterday, and through my wife's 40th birthday party, surprise birthday party. That was
40th.
Yeah, that was a
The big
success.
4-0.
Yeah, over the hill. Keep
I'm
giving her
ready to
shit
hit there.
for it. I want to get murdered one day. Just so you know, per my wife, she wants everybody to know I love making toast while I'm taking a bath.
Hmm.
Yeah, so if I ever die because of toaster in the bathtub, it's apparently my fault, no one else's. But
So,
yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so just had my stream. Streamed twice last week, and then on Thursday and Friday night, and Thursday. No, when's Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night and Friday during the day streamed. Yeah, then we had ice skating Saturday morning, birthday party, and then watching Last Airbender. That's about it. That's all my exciting things for this past week.
hmm, nice. Um, see, for me, um, I don't know if I don't know if I really talked about it, but I have a few achievements slash highlights that I've done. Um, so I talked about been playing Kirby the Forgotten Land. I talked a little bit about that. I finished the whole game and did the whole post game. Um, so I did that. It was very underwhelming personally. Um, but it's Kirby. I think I beat it in a few days. Really, I mean, playing an hour here too. But Kirby. So I will do a full review on it on my blog. So Surge Reviews, surgegamingreviews.blogspot.com. I'm hoping to change into a new blog area soon, so just stay tuned for that. I'll give you updates on changes. The other big thing too, another achievement, I finally finished Ready Player 2.
Oh wow!
Um, yeah, I finished it today. Uh, uh look, you care about spoilers, Tom, or no?
No, I don't.
Okay, if you guys haven't read it, stop video here, fast forward a few seconds or a few minutes, and then you don't have to hear the story. So I don't think this one was ever going to be produced into Hollywood. Um, it kind of went in a direction I didn't expect. And the reason I don't think this one's ever going to go in go Hollywood because it's essentially done by a different movie, and it's very controversial too. So what happened is first off, I told you guys before they have a new system called the Omni, and it kind of like inputs that you're there through brainwaves, and it leaves your main body lifeless. Um, and then like an evil NPC of James Holiday comes out, Anorak or Anorak, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce the name really, but he ends up wanting the collect the 7 shards, and those 7 shards was essentially to resurrect Kira, which was, if you remember Kira in the movie, it was his first love, but in reality, it was more Og's wife. Okay, so the whole thing is pretty much they get all that, they're doing that, um, and then come find out that the Omni, what it does, it essentially copies your mind, like your consciousness into the game. It makes a backup of your thing, because it's going through a retinal scan the whole time. So if you're in there longer than 12 hours, you can kill yourself. It's that bad. So you have a 12-hour limit in that game. So what happened is, when the point was to help like people who can't play with like disabilities, things like that, who can't use the actual machine, they can just think and play, you know. So that was the whole purpose of it. Um, Ended up being where James Holiday really wanted Kira to be his wife, so he made her. He said he told her about the device, and she wanted to try it out, and copied her consciousness to it without her permission. So the whole thing just comes down to he invented this thing for the purpose of accessibility issues, and then he ended up being where the very end it defeat the main villain, and now they have this power where they can resurrect people within the game, their subconscious, pretty much their mind, because it's their digital copy of themselves per se. And that's the whole thing. Like they ended up building this spaceship because the main character's he's rich from being the heir to, you know, gregarious systems. So he builds a spaceship, puts like a server in the spaceship, sends him off into space, and creates all sorts of virtual, including himself. And he creates all sorts of virtual avatars of people that are, that one of them was like one of the main character's grandmother. She passed away, but she was playing that game using the Omni. So they bring her back. They bring back Og, because he did finally put it on at the end of the book. They send them off into space, and they have their own little virtual world, because they don't think people are ready for AI yet, and that's what it essentially is. It's digital AI inside the game. So your digital self lives forever within the world, and inside the spaceship, they gave full control of the AI to it, so they control the spaceship, where they go, things like that. And then they also put human embryos on board the spaceship. So if the human race ever got extinct, they can go start another civilization somewhere. Now, of course, they're communicating because they have a way, but that's what it pretty much came to. Like it was weird, you know. So I didn't really like it. And I don't think they'll ever make that into a movie, really.
So, what movie are you thinking it's most like then, other than Sword Art?
It's similar to the Matrix.
Okay.
Um, so it's like the Matrix, just creating AI within the thing, like the programs, the computers created AI, and then the fact that you plug yourself in, if you um unplug or whatever, you could die within the Matrix. It's the same thing with this book. So
So, I would recommend you and your wife at some point in time, if you guys are looking to find a show to watch together, check out Upload. I
oh yeah, I
mentioned it
heard
in our
about that.
chat. So,
I saw the preview. I know what it is. It looks really good.
yeah. So, I mean, for the viewers,
Oh yeah,
in
for sure.
short, yeah, pretty much before you die. So, let's say you were in a horrific car accident and you had moments left to live. Pretty much, they're able to just the way they do it's like overly gruesome. It doesn't just upload your brain; it like just pretty much disintegrates your entire head all the way down to the neck, and then your consciousness is uploaded to a mainframe. And then from there, you can pay a bunch of money and be in these beautiful resorts. Or if you're poor, then you're in these spots where it's like you have to pay per gigabyte, almost like an old cell phone plan. But of course, there's some random espionage and other stuff going in where people are trying
Mm.
to, government conspiracies more or less. But
Right,
overall,
right.
it's a pretty fun. It's like a romantic comedy, but also a little sci-fi thriller ish almost. But it's pretty lighthearted. I think they do a good job about telling a good, compelling story and keeping it fun and lighthearted, with taking some serious thoughts on everything. But yeah, no, I would definitely recommend. But I would say it's to an extent like that. Just being able to upload your consciousness, which is both
Right.
dope and terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. I did pick up a new anime though this week. It's called Ninja Kamui. Um, it was pretty much just a lot of fighting and blood and lots of violence. But I'm
Sounds
okay
like
with that.
anime.
I'm okay with that though. It's essentially about I guess it's about this guy who I guess he fled from his ninja clan and they have the technology they can change their faces and him and his wife escaped from the clan that they were a part of and they had a child. That's why they escaped. And so they go and live their life, right? And I guess his ninja clan, they don't want their secrets to leak to anybody other than who they deem worthy. So they have assassins out there hunting the exiled. And so the main characters want to exiled, and they see that they see in the news every day that 4 or 5 people have died. I'm like, dude, they're coming close. He's like, don't worry about it. But then one day, the one of the assassins comes and kills his wife and child, and overcomes him because he's just not in fighting mood, I guess. And he kills, and now he's just out for revenge. So it's only 3 episodes in, but it's pretty good. Um, I have to say it's probably one of the best ninja animes I've seen in a long time. You know, so and I know there's Naruto that's a ninja anime, but this is different. This is like Naruto's like kid ninja with this is more dark. So it's really good. I mean, it's on HBO Max. I know you say you didn't have it, but
Hmm.
you know, if you get a free trial or something, it's worth a watch.
All right.
So, but other than that, I haven't really done a whole lot more. Just still messing with algorithms and analytics and stuff like that. So, but that's what I do.
Yeah, I still have a shit ton of shorts I got
Oh,
to upload. Oh well.
um, the boys and I have been playing a lot of Smash for sure.
All right.
So Smash Brothers
So
is really good.
we've got these off-brand pro controllers, and they work just fine. I think they're really good Xbox-esque type controllers and everything. They're
Talking about the
great.
Power A ones.
No, some random off-brand ones. However, though, the issue that I'm having with it is I hate playing Smash Bros. I would rather play with the Joy Cons than the Pro controllers. So on Super Smash Bros., in order for you to sprint, all you got to do is just like press, one direction or the other direction super fast, and you're good to go.
Right,
Well, on these, like you have to like just beat the shit out of the either double tap the left or right on the stick, or you have to just have a perfect straight directly to the left or straight directly to the right. I don't know. It's just really, it's not as responsive for the quick movements and stuff. And I'm just not a huge fan of playing the game. And all of our Joy Cons are, everything's got really bad stick drift. Been meaning to go online and buy some new joysticks for it, but that's just money to spend and
yeah.
whatever.
So,
I got the tools to fix it. I'm just not fixing it right now.
but yeah, I get it. They're not too bad to fix. I fixed a couple. So I
Hmm.
have this one that I just got the push button.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. So when you're
No,
trying
that
playing
sucks.
Fortnite, you're trying to sprint and you have to push it in, it won't work.
Oh.
So then I have an Xbox controller somewhere that has drift, so I need to fix that. Kids just they break everything. They
Oh
touch
yeah.
it. Ooh, it's
Where's my
broken. I'm like, what?
controller? Oh, my,
But
my Xbox controller is super sticky because the kids. I need to buy a new one for
so
my
the
PC
the other
games.
project I have that I need to fix is I don't know how to do it, but apparently this right here, this DS was perfect. This was a I modded this guy with through an SD card, and I can play any emulator. I had a Sega, Super Nintendo, NES, Nintendo 64 emulation on here, including DS emulation, right? But I let my kids play it, and for whatever reason, the 4-year old broke the charger, so now it won't charge. So, but anywho, that's besides the point, right? Kids are kids. What do you do?
Assholes. Sell them.
So, but let's go into the our nerd news. There's we have quite a bit, and one of the nerd news is going to jump into the segment of into today's topic,
So
which
we'll keep
we
that one for last.
yep. So, but anyways, one big thing, Borderlands 2, the Borderlands 2, Borderlands dropped their official trailer for the movie. Jack Black is featured as Claptrap. You do have a decent cast. You have Kevin Hart in there. Who else? Jamie Lee Curtis, um, Kate Blanchett, and who's the other person? Oh yeah, Ariana Greenblatt. So those are the main people. I don't know who plays the psycho, but you know. So, but yeah, I mean, you saw the trailer?
Yeah, no, I did. I'm not extremely impressed. We'll say that. I think it'll be a good, fun movie, but being somebody who played a lot of the video games and stuff, I have my
Yeah,
complaints. I mean, starting off, I think they could have done a lot better on casting. First and foremost, I think Jack Black will do a great job as playing Claptrap,
I think he
but
was a good cast for that.
they already have a voice actor for Claptrap. Why wouldn't you just recast him? So there's that. Kate
They
Blanchett.
need him on.
I think
Yeah,
she's a beautiful human being. I loved her in Ragnarok. I think she's great. However, though, she's playing Lilith, and
Liz
Lilith
was
is
a
supposed
young
to be a
hot.
young, hot redhead. So I'm a little disappointed on that. Roland, being played by Kevin Hart, like Roland wasn't necessarily brick, big, huge, buff guy, but I still feel like he should have been. You know, I feel like maybe if you're going to do The Rock, maybe that would be a better. Actually, no, I think if somebody would have been played Brick would have been who's the guy who plays Guardians of the Galaxy, uh, the Destroyer guy.
Oh, that's Dave Bautista.
Yeah, I think he would have done a good job at that. Maybe The Rock as Roland or just somebody. I don't know. I've got a few faces in my head, but I think they
I
could
think
have cast it a little bit better.
Tiny Tina's casted pretty decent.
I think they did a good job with Tina. However, though, like me being the video game purist that I am, I'm like, why would you put Tina in there as a main character unless you were doing? I don't know. She never went on. Like it was adults going on adventures, and then you have this one-off kid doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing because they're a kid.
Right.
So I mean, I'm quite sure it'll be a great movie. I'm excited to see it. It'll be entertaining. But again, as the
I
purist, I
feel
have my complaints. I have my concerns. We'll say that.
I never played the original Borderlands. I played 2 and pre-sequel, and I never played part 3, which maybe we could play part 3 as a stream. I think it'll be fun.
Kyle wants
Um,
to get you wrapped up in doing that. Maybe playing through all three games for the storyline one day.
yeah, I'm
Definitely not
fine
in a
with
day.
that. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm fine. I have to. I don't have Borderlands 1, so I'll have to buy that one. But I have pre-sequel. Which if we can do all three, we might as well start with pre-sequel. But
True.
anyways, I think it just looks very campy, like in a bad way. Like it just, I don't know. I feel like they want the movie to succeed, so they're like, let's put on these superstars in these movies
Hmm.
and let's throw money at it and just go from there. And honestly, you can't really do that. I mean, they got lucky with Mario Brothers, personally,
Hmm.
but if you look at Mario Brothers as a whole, the story sucked
Oh, there's a
because it's
Borderlands 2 VR?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
missing this. Sorry, I'm going through right now to try to find
So,
just Borderlands and see what the price is right now.
but next piece of news that I want to hit is Elden Ring. Elden Ring was Game of the Year in 2022. Um, and it's been almost 2 years now since it's released because they released early on 2022. So it's been 2 years now since it's released. 2 years later, they're dropping a DLC for it. I think it's huge. It's huge. It's gonna be majorly played game. Um, I don't see why I don't see why they would not have anything else for it. Um, so but anyways, the other piece of news that we touched on a little bit, at least Tom did. Um, Avatar: The Last Airbender dropped on Netflix 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I've only seen the first two episodes, but here's what I think. Man, oh man, it is good. Um, like I'm thoroughly impressed of how well they did it. First off, when you're watching the Nickelodeon anime, the main character's name Aang. They say Aang,
Mm-hmm.
right? Soka, you know. So why did M Night Shyamalan, when he made the last Airbender
Ong.
atrocity, he said Aang and Sokka? Like it was Aang. They had the pronunciation right there for you, and you said Aang.
Yeah, the source material existed for years beforehand, for a full 3 seasons, and they decided to go on. Fucking
Aang.
assholes.
And that movie was a monstrosity. Don't
Mm-hmm.
ever watch it. In fact, erase it from your memories. Okay, it's done. So
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. This thing is it's good. Like I like the casting. I think the casting so far has been pretty good. I've heard some. I don't know how far you into, but I've heard some people say that Boomy wasn't as good cast. They didn't like how he was casted. But I haven't gotten that far yet. So
I'm okay with the casting. I have more of a concern, like, it's okay. So, obviously, it's not going to be a one for one. There's going to be their creative differences and everything, trying to make it better for, the big, the metaphorical big screen and everything for that. I think casting was done well. I do have some issues with Uncle Iroh. More specific, like I think he's doing a great job. He's just a nice, sweet old man and
oh
everything. But
yeah,
I like my old groggly voice, Iroh versus this
that's
guy
what I'm
with like really
saying.
clean.
Yeah,
What?
that's what I'm saying. Uncle Iroh, like it was just something about the animated version that his voice was just perfect.
Just spot on. Now, of course,
This guy
maybe you've got
plays
it.
it well,
He's
but
doing a good job. Like I said, I have no issues with the casting. My issues are with like the overall direction that they're going with it. It's not the biggest thing is Evan and I are having a great time. So even if the show was trash, I am having fun making memories on the way. But no, I think ultimately overall, I've seen worse remakes, and I think they're doing a good job. I'm
I think
excited
they're
to
doing pretty
finish
good.
the season out, and I'm
It's
excited for season two already.
yeah, they're I mean the story is very accelerated because I think each season was uh what, like 26 episodes, 23 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have to say that the one thing that, because it's been forever since I've seen the show. I remember highlights of the show, things like that, characters, whatever. Um, there, there's one thing that I did not really care for. That was when they were in the Kyoshi village.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was at the symbol of power with Kyoshi, and he was talking to her, and which is in the show. It's fine. He does that, but then she takes over his body and fights.
Um,
Is that in the
Roku,
show?
Roku. It doesn't happen with the
So
anime.
I don't remember that.
With the actual cartoon. A dragon comes up and puts out all the fire and everything. But I think ultimately Aang is the one who goes and just kicks everybody's butt. It's just the spirit comes in and saves the day. However, though, later in the season, when they go to one of the Fire Nation islands to check out the Roku shrine, Roku takes over his body in that one,
Oh, okay,
I believe.
okay.
So I think so they might be doing some creative differences, and Roku, I would imagine Roku's probably not
I
going to
thought it
take
was.
over
I
his
mean,
body.
I thought it was cool when she
Oh
came out,
yeah,
though.
no, I think it was dope that you're actually able to see, because I was really worried about seeing how much they're going to visualize these people. They did a good job making her like some tall chick, who was a badass and destroyed everybody. So yeah, I don't have
Yeah.
any. I have no complaints on that. On that, those type of things, I don't have an issue with.
So
Again, overall, I think they're doing a good job.
I think Aang is in the last Airbender series. I think he's a terrible Avatar. He becomes to be a better Avatar, but this excites me for the scene what they do with Korra. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I thought the Legend of Korra was 10 times better.
I disagree. I'm trying to figure out why you. I mean, I don't know. What's your reason? Do you have reasons?
I think Korra as a character is a lot better. Um, Korra as a character is a lot better. She starts off with as a prodigy more so than Aang ever was. Um, and then I like season one. I thought it was cool because they actually do more with the blood bending and the energy bending, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved season two because it where there's good, there's always evil, and they kind of dive into the story of which one caught into the story of the Avatar of how it became and why it
Mm-hmm.
became Avatar, and of course there's a dark Avatar. I thought that was really cool. And then season three, when they have the all those bending masters that are villains come out, and the guy who can fly,
Yeah.
and then the lava bending. I just thought was really creative as far as that kind of stuff goes. It's just it took Avatar: The Last Airbender and just evolved it to the next level. Now season four, it started off. I liked how it started off, but I think overall it was trash. But I think season four was just a political agenda, but that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
Um, but I just like the beginning of season four how she's just down in the dumps. She's fucked up from what happened to her in season three because that was fucked up shit. Aang didn't really have to go through that kind of stuff. That's what I liked about it. Yeah, Aang had his share, but nothing like what Korra went through. You
Yeah.
know, Korra had no one to rely on anymore. Um, so because she lost the Avatar state and stuff, so you know, but it was just spoilers. Sorry, people. But it was just that's why I like it better. So I'm excited to see if they go that direction with it.
I'd say
So
ultimately, I think I'd like season one more, but well, sorry, the first show, Last Airbender, but I'm definitely not going to talk bad on Legend of Korra. I always enjoyed it. I know a lot of people didn't like Legend of Korra in general, but yeah, whatever, they can fuck off.
I thought it was really good
Yeah,
overall. Um, if you could have one bending power, which one would you pick?
I'd
To
go
me, it's a
water,
to me it's a tie between two of them,
but you got to pick
but
one.
I know. So if you pick water,
I think in
I'll
order, I would go water, earth, fire, and air.
see. I would go water, air, earth, then fire. I
Hmm.
thought fire was the worst one.
Yeah,
So water, I would go water because blood bending.
yeah.
Blood bending is OP.
Blood bending, the swamp bending. I mean, because everything has water. Now the
Yeah.
nice thing is with heat, as long as you've got oxygen, you have fire bending more or less. And then of course air bending. There's air everywhere, but ultimately, I would say you would have the least control if you ever had to go out in space.
Well, I don't have to worry about that because with the air bending, all I got to do is just suck the air out of your lungs and you're dead.
Yeah. However, though, technically, I think air bending shouldn't exist. It should only be water bending because gases work like fluids.
Yeah. So, but apparently with earthbend you can bend lava, so that's weird. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still just melted lava. I mean, it's just melted rock, so it's still rock.
Yeah.
Earth.
So,
Yeah. Okay. What
but
else we
yeah,
got on the
that's
nerd news?
uh Walmart
Oh
is
yeah.
Walmart. I think it will. How much are they acquiring it for? Like like 2 point something, $2.5 billion maybe.
Oh shit, where'd it go?
So let's see here. Walmart. Oh
Uh,
yeah, I was close.
11,
The Walmart
2.3,
is
2.3
2.3.
billion.
Right. They're looking. They're spending 2.3 billion to get the acquisition of Vizio and its operating system, SmartCast.
Yeah, it looks like they're more interested in the OS versus the actual TV brand, which it makes sense because probably what they're going to do is they're going to make something comparable to Amazon and their ecosystem. They're probably going to have a Walmart ecosystem too. Like
Yeah,
reading
but
that, it's the first thing I'm thinking. It's like because of course you've got the the Echoes, you've got with Alexa in general, you've got the TVs, you've got the cameras, you got this, you got that. So I think if they go with the operating system, then they're going to start being able to make their own Walmart TVs. Just but Vizio's going to be the brand that the Vizio Walmart. So then from
well,
there, you're
yeah,
going to be able
the
to make
big thing.
purchases, and they're going to be able to do more advertising. It's going to be kind of like back when Verizon bought AOL back in the day. Do you remember that acquisition?
Uh huh.
Like they didn't buy it because of the email servers. They bought it because of advertising.
Right, and that's I mean, first off, they won't have to. Walmart ain't gonna worry about capturing my stuff because I'm never gonna buy a fucking Vizio TV. I think they're trash. Whatever.
I
You
mean,
know, if they're gonna get my advertisement, they might get me with an on TV because that's something I would give my kids.
mhm,
But really, if I'm getting a cheap TV, I'm gonna do TCL.
yeah.
So TCL's a better brand than all those TVs. In fact, TCL's the number one TV manufacturer in the world because it's manufactured out of China. But that's despite the point. So I don't know if you knew that or not.
I'm not surprised. I mean, that's why. Why else would they be so expensive? So inexpensive. They're making all their TV off the data they're selling from you versus actually the
Yeah.
the revenue from the TVs.
So exactly. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty big move. Because Vizio when it first came out, it was an up and coming brand. When it first came out, a lot of people jumped all over it. It was up and coming. They made decent TVs, and then for whatever reason, they got too big for their britches and they fell down the wayside.
Hmm.
At one point, I wanted the Vizio TV. I'm like, dude, Vizio is a great brand. Um,
Vizio was the best middle of the road where you're not spending arm and a leg, but you're still getting a good quality TV.
right, and it's
Um,
it's now bottom of the
other
barrel.
other brands are doing a much better job than they are.
Yeah. I mean, watch our TV episode, but really, just cheap TV, TCL, LG, Samsung.
Hmm.
So they make better TVs for the same price, honestly. Oh, you pay a little bit more for LG and Samsung, but still,
Yeah.
you know. But that's there's that. So, all right, a quick word from our sponsor.
Oh,
Um,
I throw my W upstairs.
that's okay. But let's do a quick word from our sponsor here. All right. So, if you guys ever feel tired, anything like that, I recommend going with Dubby. You're gonna get all the energy without the crash and the jitters. So it's kind of nice. Um, you get this cool water bottle if you get the promo kit. I think it's like what 19.99.
Yeah, $20
Um,
somewhere in there. Yeah.
and you get 3 energy packs, the hydro kit, and then 2 hydro samples as well. W hydro. If you don't want the energy, you can get a hydration kit. So that's what the hydro is. You can get electrolytes. You drink
Yeah,
water. It's
both
like
both my
flavored
wife and
water.
I were a little on the hungover side this morning due to our drinking, due to the partying and everything. So we were hydrating today, to say the least. I would like to get some of the energy ones from them, but it's like I drink coffee in the morning and then I that's about it.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
hydration for the win.
yeah, but if you use promo code Surge, you get 10% off your next purchase.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, go out there, and I'll be upfront with you. you go out there and buy their product. It's a good product. I do have to admit, I was kind of skeptical at first, but it is a very good product. The flavors are good, and anything that you buy off Dubby helps the nerdy phase grow. So 10%. I mean, it's a little bit. But if you tell your friends, family, all that stuff, we'll get there. So 10% off the next purchase.
Okay, come on, at least try to give us enough money that we can start hiring editors so we could do other shit.
Yeah, I can stream more if I didn't have to edit. If
Yep.
so we can have a producer. So that's what the W is going to do for us, amongst other things. So, you know, I'm working on some other sponsors. So just bear with us. Right now, it's just W.
We should get thinking
All
about
right.
getting VPN just after talking about Vizio and TCL and selling all our information. Yeah,
For sure.
we need one of them.
But all right. Remember, guys, W. Promo code Surge. Get 10% off your next purchase. All right, and we're back. So let's hit the see. We saved the one part of the nerd news for the for this reason because it's going to be what's what I'm looking for. It's going to transition into what we want to talk about as the
A
main
nice
subject.
segue.
Segue. So this week, earlier this week, 4 days ago to be exact, they dropped the same day Avatar: The Last Airbender did. Well done. The company is Nintendo. They dropped their Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. And what a partner showcase is, it's not necessarily them showing their exclusives. It is then showing off what other companies are doing for them. So, I want to start with this. Remember last week when we talked about Xbox? Hey, Xbox is releasing their games into other consoles, right? Grounded is coming off of the Switch. That's a game made by Xbox Game Studios. Um, and they're doing exactly what I said. They're not going to release their like first party exclusives. Well, I mean, this is a first party exclusive in a sense, but it doesn't have their iconics, you know, like Master Chief per se. But they got Grounded, and I think they got one other Xbox game. Did they not?
I'm
Uh,
not sure. I'm pretty excited
no.
about Grounded though.
Yeah, I think Grounded would be a cool game to play. It is one of those I've heard a lot about it. It's one of those survivor based games. So
But yeah, it looks like it's backyard stuff. I think it's actually being what do you call that? It looks like it is being marketed. There we go, marketed to kids and everything. Which, depending on how much it is it's not free. No, it's probably going to be paid because it's going to be cross-platform. So I
um
could play on my PC. We got three switches.
hold
The
on, let me
kids can
see
play together.
something. Let's see here. Cuz I can look it up on Xbox Game Pass. No, yeah, the game is 30 it's going to be about $40. That's how much it is on Game Pass. So
Okay.
if I don't have the Game Pass, you probably pay about $40 to play the game. So not a bad deal. $40, you know, it seems like a good deal. If you wanted to stream the game, like and comment on our comments on the YouTube page or Spotify, we have a spot for that. Just say stream Grounded. We want to watch you play. We'll play it. So, and if you're watching these podcasts, we talk about our stream all the time. If there's anything you want us to play, go ahead, like our video and comment on the comment section, and we'll consider that. So, but anywho, um, just to highlight a few things that people and have coming out, and then we'll touch on major games that are exciting. They did this the Ranger role playing game. It was kind of like playing those little puzzle games, which you know what I'm talking about. It was a little RPG that looked interesting. Unicorn Overlord is one of their things that they're doing. It's that they're looking at a strategy RPG that looks interesting. They're doing the Snow Parks Snow Day is coming out. Another Sword Art game is coming out. They're doing Gundam. If you're into the Gundam Breaker series, a game that was really interesting to me was another Crab's Treasure. Looks like it's a roguelike type game where you have to find different shells and It looked really interesting to me.
Hmm.
Um, those are the major big things that really stood out to me as far as like not the main subject ones. Super Monkey Ball is doing another game, Banana Rumble. If you're into those games, to me they're all the same. Um, so and then of course Refine and Reveal, Endless Ocean, Luminous. I have no clue why you want to play that, but if that's what you're into, go for it.
Yeah.
That game, just uh, just seeing that video, I was just like, that was a snooze fest. I'm like, let's explore the ocean. And like, okay, can I go warp speed? No, you're just sitting there swimming. Oh, there's a new fish. Okay, and this fish, do I have to fight it? Do I have to kill it? No, I just took a picture or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. If that's what you're into. So,
It'll probably be a decent kids game because like Grayson, anytime he plays games, he doesn't really actually play the game. He'll like I mean, let's take Fortnite. I think we talked about it last week, but he'd get in the car and he'd just drive around the whole time. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be shooting other people. Go
yeah.
find your loot boxes. But no, just driving around having a good time. So I think
Yeah.
he would enjoy the game, but that's about it. I don't know anybody else who play it.
So, but yeah. And then, so okay, first major game that they're getting into. It came out on the DS exclusively, so they're really shifting the Switch. Nintendo's really shifting their focus on the Switch being the new handheld. They're really re-releasing Monster Hunter Stories. It was originally a 3DS game. Now
Hmm.
it's on the Switch.
Yep.
So, and then one game I want to talk about. Then you could talk about the next game.
Okay.
Um, one game I'm pretty excited for is Epic Mickey, Disney Epic Mickey rebrushed. So, fun story about Epic Mickey. This game originally came out on the Nintendo Wii, so it's a pretty old game. Um, this game is the first game, the first not the first game, but the first time you see Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which was a lost Disney character from a long time ago. He was meant to be he was meant to be he was meant to be Mickey Mouse. So Walt Disney first drew him. He had a few shorts for the character, and then he went off and discarded him and created the Mickey Mouse, and then sold the rights to uh, NBC, an old studio of NBC. They didn't do anything with it, and so Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was there, just lost. So the game is pretty much you're going to the land of forgotten cartoons, pretty much. And Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is mad at Mickey because he got the popularity, not him. Um, but fun story. So, are you familiar with the commentator Al Michaels?
No.
He was a sports commentator. He was working for ABC, and as you know, Disney is owned by ABC.
Mhm.
Well, he wanted to go work for NBC, but he couldn't because of contractual reasons with Disney. And Disney wanted Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Well, they couldn't get it because of contractual reasons. So they negotiated with NBC, who had Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, saying, "Hey, this guy's looking to go work for you. We want Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Why don't we do a trade of some sort?" So essentially, a real life human being was traded for rights to a cartoon character.
Hmm.
And that's how Disney got that character, Al Michaels. So fun story about that. But Disney Rebrush is gonna I think it'll be pretty good. So it's a fun little game.
Did
Check
you
it
play
out.
it on the Wii?
I did. I did. I
Okay.
didn't get very far into it because I ended up getting something else. So
Yeah.
but
It's like it looks like an interesting game. The kids might enjoy it. I doubt we'll be buying it. But for the game I am excited about, they are going to be re-releasing. I forgot what the actual. I don't see the title on it, but it's going to be the original Battlefront and Battlefront Two. I think it's called the Battlefront Collection or something.
the
So
Star
it's
Wars
going to
Battlefront Classic Collection.
classic collection. Yeah. So it's going to be both games. I played the crap out of those games back when I had them on PlayStation and Xbox. I've got both of them on Steam. I bought those years ago for the Order 66 package. when everything was 66% off. Still played a lot of those games. But so I'm super excited because now it'll be on a console. My kids will be able to start playing it. Hopefully they'll be enjoy some of the nuances. But they're also opening up all the online servers again, so you'll be able to play against a bunch of people. So that is overly exciting. I hope they release some. They're talking about they're releasing some additional content with it, like some new maps, new characters. Like I saw, what Kit Fisto was one of the ones
Yeah,
that they're going to be releasing with it.
there's
There
supposed to be
is,
bigger
I
scale battles too, right?
I haven't, I don't remember seeing anything about that other than maybe there's going to be a higher online player count. That might be it, but I don't see anything about bigger maps. However, though, if anybody's familiar with Battlefront, at least the online community, there are some mods out there that are essentially Battlefront 3. They've got larger maps. You're able to go from ground battle to space battle just by flying a ship up there. I doubt they're going to add all those, but I hope they decide to do some creative licenses and unlock some potential that they were missing from the original games. Even though those games, the old games were almost perfect in my opinion, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they were fun. I played Battlefront too because I run and play with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So, but it was a fun game.
Oh yeah.
So,
No, this
and
is a
then
classic game if nothing else.
World of Goo 2 is coming out for the Switch as well. Um, Fun game. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping it comes out on PC instead of Switch because I want to play on PC, not Switch, but whatever. Um, but now the other thing, just recently on the Nintendo Online and the online expansion pack, uh, they're releasing some games by Xbox essentially. Rare is now allowing them to put out their games. So they're putting out Battletoads, Battlemaniacs, which is rare. And Xbox has a game for it too now because they have Rare. Killer Instinct, and Xbox once again made Killer Instinct. It was the thing. They have a new Killer Instinct game that's out on
Hmm.
Xbox. But Killer Instinct was one. Um, that was one of the best fighting games I've ever played growing up. That was the fighting game for me.
I was more of a
So,
Mortal Kombat guy myself, but I get it.
Mortal Kombat was more of like you know, the
Sega.
button mashing.
Yeah.
Uh, Killer Instinct was about the combos. You actually had to do combos. And it was kind of funny because I remember like uh I went over to this guy's house and he had a Super Nintendo and he had Killer Instinct in there. And I was like, oh sweet. I was like, I was like, I love this game. I used to play it all the time. He's like, yeah, I play it all the time too. I'm pretty good. In fact, I'd probably kick your ass. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm sure you could. I'm not that good. And he was like, let's play. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. I was hoping you'd say that. And I was like, hey, real quick, can I go to practice mode so I can get a feel for the game again? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I picked my favorite character, Saberwolf. I mean, I like almost everyone, but I picked Saberwolf.
Yeah, we've
I'm
all
just
got our
sitting there,
favorites.
and I'm just sitting there. Okay, hyper, brutal, hyper combo. And he's like, hey, yeah, you suck. I could do killer combos. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. Oh, I said, killer combo, killer combo, killer combo. And he was like, okay, I actually gotta go. I can't. I mean, he didn't want to play after seeing me do the practice. I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
So,
I had a
but
buddy. We always played WCW NWO Revenge on the N64.
ooh, that
Yeah.
was a good one.
Oh, it was a good one. But this guy, he would always get so mad. He'd keep like punching me in the arm and everything every time we beat him. Like, dude, just get good scrub. I mean, of course, that was more of a newer lingo on that one. But regardless, yeah, the guy would get all pissy just because I'd kick his ass. And, it's like, gee, I never went over to his house ever again because he was being a sore fucking loser.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I
But
have
I was
some.
also so sorry. I just want to bring it up. Also, RC Program on the
Oh
RC
yeah,
Pro Am. That was a classic. I was always a pain in the butt. I'm excited to play the game again because I'm a lot better now than I was in terms of because the problem with that game was so imagine your car is facing up on the screen. If you hit left, you go left. If you hit right, you go right. So on this one, when my car's already this direction, I wasn't sure if I need to hit left or right or anything like that. But nowadays, the kids just got some drones, some cheap drones, but they got some drones, and I was outside flying them and everything. Just I understand. Oh, here's the front of my vehicle. Here's the back of my vehicle. Okay,
Oh
here's
yeah,
my left.
yeah.
Here's my right.
I
It's a
get
lot
that
easier for me doing it now. So I'm excited to play that game again, being an adult and actually having some dexterity and hand-eye coordination.
for sure, for sure. Which leads us like we're sitting here talking about fond memories of Nintendo, which leads to the question is why is Nintendo so successful despite being the weakest processing console on the market? You know, for example, um, I mean, the best-selling system of all time is the PlayStation 2, hands down. Okay. The number two selling system of all time is the Nintendo Wii. So, so like, okay, when you're talking about in terms of Nintendo and Super Nintendo, let's go Super Nintendo because that's when Super Nintendo was during the '90s war, right? The '90s console war. They dominated in the '90s, regardless of who was out there. I mean, you had Sega Genesis. Sega
Mhm.
Genesis came in second, right? But then you had like Neo Geo, TurboGrafx 16, Panasonic Reel. You had 3D, the 3DO system, Atari Jaguar, and yet Super Nintendo demolished all of them. And we're not. I mean, price. We talked about prices in the '90s. So
Yeah,
when the Super Nintendo first came out, that thing was $300. You know, the Super Nintendo's the same price as your fucking Switch
yeah.
today. So it wasn't price that got it, you know. And honestly, the Super Nintendo, if you sit down and think about it, they didn't have very many first party games.
Hmm.
You have a handful of them. So I mean,
I think
it's just
Mario. That's about
baffling.
it. Yeah, I mean,
What's
obviously more
that?
than just Mario, but everybody knows. Yeah, they got Mario, and honestly, I think that's the number one reason why they did so well.
Yeah,
Everybody played Mario on the NES, so they've played Super Mario on the SNES, and yeah. But yeah, no, I think it is such a great system just due to the fact. I mean, I guess going back a little bit into the history of it, it wasn't sold in a gaming section; it was sold in the toy section.
hmm
Nintendo's always been making toys for the longest time. Then they finally switched over, and they knew how to market to kids and families for everybody to have a good playtime. So, honestly, marketing's everything. It's not like they have the internet where you're able to go. So let's talk phones for just a second. But if you're going to go out and buy a phone, everybody knows Samsung, everybody knows Apple. So if you're going to go out and buy a phone, you're probably going to get a Samsung, or you're going to get an Apple, and that's it. There's a lot of other great phones out there. Honestly, I think next time I get a phone, I might get the red phone with the red 9. I forgot what they called it, but a phone that honestly, objectively, has better stats than the Samsung or the iPhone in terms of more storage, better processor, more RAM, actual cooling fans built into it. Objectively a better phone, but because they don't have the marketing power, they don't have the name recognition that the
yeah.
other brands have. They don't do it. So but
So
we have the ability now to hop online and look up other things. So yeah, I would say that's the number one reason why they did as well as they did. They just had better marketing, and they had the share of the market.
yeah, in the U.S. we called it Nintendo. I mean, the name of the company. And then Super Nintendo because that's the name of the company. But in Japan, they knew what Nintendo was. Oh, Nintendo. Yeah, I know Nintendo. I know Nintendo. Of course, now they keep that name across the board everywhere. So in Japan, it's Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube. But originally, it wasn't called Nintendo. In Japan, they called it the Famicom,
Hmm.
right? Which stood for Family Computer. So here's the thing with Nintendo, like, um, in the '90s, Sega, Sega knew. They're like, look, Nintendo's got Mario. We need to come up with an icon that's better than Mario, faster than Mario, cooler than Mario. And so what did they come up with? Sonic. You know,
And that's why they
Sega,
did as well they did, is because they had a character to market. Therefore, they had recognition.
right? And it was kind of funny because the when this CEO presented that, if you ever noticed in the '90s, Sega was always attacking Nintendo, right? Their big thing on the commercial was Sega does what Nintendo don't. It
Yep.
was brilliant marketing, and yet Nintendo still came out on top. Um, and if you pay attention, the first handhelds were by Tiger Electronics. Those little, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. That was
Those noises.
Mr. Game and Watch and stuff.
That was Nintendo as well.
Yeah. But
But
yeah,
I'm
no,
talking
but
about,
everything was
yeah,
like those.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, Nintendo though, in the '90s when they released that Game Boy, oh man, that was some next level shit. And then Sega released a Sega Game Gear.
Yeah.
Okay,
Objectively a better console.
oh,
However, though,
objectively, all around better console,
oh yeah, the colored screen.
color screen, but anything. But that thing, you play 2 hours in AAA with AA batteries because it took like 8 AA batteries.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
dead.
we had the power extender pack that you put on the back and charge
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a must.
But Nintendo had the licenses. So during the '90s, this is why I think in the '90s Nintendo won. Nintendo was a well-known company, and Nintendo had all the licenses. They were making not just like regular games. They were making like movie games. They had all the license with Hollywood. They had all the licenses. Some of the biggest companies that emerged from Nintendo, SquareSoft, which is now Square Enix. Um, they just stuff like that. Capcom partnered with them early on and made Mega Man from the Nintendo. And they had those licenses just rolling about, right? Um, it wasn't until late '90s, like what, '96, where Nintendo started to, was it '96? I think '90, yeah, yeah, '96, '95. That's when the PlayStation came out. So it's for sure, it has to be because
December 3rd,
um
1994.
'94 is when they came out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I was basing it off Final Fantasy VII because I know Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997.
Yeah.
The original. So Nintendo, they stayed around because of their licenses. Um, they started to lose a little bit of traction when the PlayStation came out because of the company who released it, Sony. Sony was a well-known company in Japan as well, and they
Mm-hmm.
started to get the licenses and stuff like that. But Nintendo still managed to stay on top. Um, so because they had already been, they had an icon. Sony didn't have an icon. Sony doesn't have an icon. If you think about it, who is Sony's icon? They don't. Well, now
Yeah.
they
Yeah. At
now
this
they kind of
point,
do.
you think of any like JRPG type game, and yeah, usually it's going to be Sony at this point. So yeah, they just
Yeah.
have Uwu and everything. That's their icon.
So, but Sony did acquire one of the bigger companies that was a blow to Nintendo, Final Fantasy, because Nintendo had Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, 4, 5, and 6. They had all six of them. Then Final Fantasy 7 came out. Super Nintendo did not get it. So,
Hmm.
and Nintendo has not had an original mainstream Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy 7. Yes, I know you can get Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 on Nintendo, but those were not originally for Nintendo. Now they finally can get them because it's finally like technology is caught up. So, I'm talking about original mainstream, not like, oh, it was ported over stuff like that when it's originally released. Final Fantasy 3/6 um was one of the last ones they got. So, but you know, but
Mhm.
anyway,
But I guess the question is why are they doing such a good job today? You know, despite not having the best console out there.
well, so I think Nintendo the reason that they could do such a good job in the market is you nailed it earlier is marketing. Um, First off, they have a niche that no one's ever has and no one has ever touched and no one has ever really competed. What kept Nintendo afloat for so long was the handheld market, in my
Yep.
opinion. Like really the Sega stopped. They lost. They never released anything else after the Game Gear.
Mhm.
So they never released anything after the Game Gear, and then you got they then come Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, DS, 3DS. They dominated. PlayStation competed with the PlayStation Vita and a PlayStation Portable. It wasn't a competition. They fell off as well. So Nintendo
Again,
just
it's like
yeah
objectively better consoles. You
yeah
know, better graphics. You know, overall better on everything. But no, they just didn't do it. You know, it's either
yeah
a people did their Nintendos or they had nothing at all. And of course, nowadays they've even got stiffer competition.
right.
You know, because everybody's got a smartphone that'll run Roblox or Minecraft or whatever. Which I was watching. Do you know who Mr. Who's the Boss? Are you familiar with him?
The CEO
YouTuber?
of
No, Mr.
oh
Who's
the
the Boss.
YouTuber.
Yeah,
No,
YouTuber. He does a bunch of what do you call that? A lot of tech reviews. You know, so anytime a new iPhone comes out, new Samsung. The most recent video that I watched that came out a couple days ago was he went over to India, and you know, because of I guess the poverty or whatever the scenario is, they don't really do a lot of console gaming over there because everything's so expensive for them in order to buy and do over there. But what they do have a huge market on is mobile gaming, and it's just due to the fact that everybody already has a phone. All their phones have great hardware. They don't cost as much as they do here in the states, and they're able to play, you know, literally any game at this point, even really good first person shooters. Heck, for a while, I was playing Warzone on my phone. It wasn't the same Warzone, but I was able to hook up a Bluetooth controller, and boom, you're good to go. You could hook up if I wanted to, I could get myself a little USB C dock and hook it up to a monitor. Boom, I've got a 27-inch display in front of me. Hook up a Bluetooth controller, and I'm playing Warzone. Obviously,
right.
not the best graphics, doesn't have all the same features, but it's still a really good competitive first person shooter.
So, but Nintendo has a footprint in the mobile market as well. So they're still
Hmm.
doing. They got Super Mario Brothers Run.
Yeah.
When that game first came out, it was all the rage.
Yeah, they've got
Um,
Tour,
they got
Mario
Super
Kart Tour.
Mario Kart Tour, Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yep.
Um, it's not theirs, but they're partnered with it, and they have the right to a Pokemon home, with the exception of Pokemon Go.
Yep. Pokemon Home. Oh, they don't have
Pokemon
any.
Go,
Well, they probably have
Pokemon
some stuff going with Pokemon Go, right?
they have no
No?
stake in Pokemon Go.
Really?
That was a conception because when Pokemon Go first came out, Nintendo stocks whoosh, soared,
Uh huh.
right? Um, and then like in a sense it affects them, but it's not theirs completely.
Hmm.
So it was actually Game Freak that partnered with Niantic,
Okay.
and so when they figured that out, then Nintendo stocks went back down.
Yeah.
Game Freak is its own company. Game Freak just has just pays Game Freak a lot of money to keep Pokemon exclusive to themselves.
Yeah.
Um, but Game Freak is its own company. They're not tied to Nintendo. They're not a subsidy Nintendo. They're just partnered with Nintendo. Because there's a game I can't remember what it's called now. I'll have to look it up later. But there's a game that came out on PlayStation 5 or PlayStation that was by Game Freak as well. It was something outside the Pokemon genre. So it was like an RPG. That was Game Freak.
Hmm.
So only one they've ever done outside of Pokemon. So I think it's called like Little Village Hero or Big Village Hero or something like that. Um, but yeah, so that's something that made me realize Game Freak is
Little
its own
Town
thing.
Hero 2019.
There you go, Little Town Hero. I was close. So it's Game Freak.
Giga
So,
Wrecker 2017. Pokemon Yoshi 1991. Wow. Drill Dozer 2005.
but yeah, um, so here I think what makes Nintendo successful is their innovations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think they have the most innovative ideas in gaming. Other people have tried to copy their innovations and failed. So for example, if no one has if you really thought that Nintendo wasn't gonna have motion controls in this day and age, you didn't pay attention to the signs. Because when the Nintendo came out, the NES was out, they had a motion device. Granted, it sucked hardcore.
The Power Glove.
The Power Glove, and not only that, but they also Rob. If you
Yep.
played Super Smash Brothers, everyone's like, Rob, where did this guy come from? He was a toy created. It was like a remote control robot that you could play this game with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah. And not only that, but like, uh, what was the other thing? Like the Wii Fit. I was like, oh, that's kind of new. No, the Wii Fit's an invention of something they did early on. You remember track and field? You plug in that pad and you start running on that pad.
Please hold.
Don't tell me you have that. Oh, I think he has that. I think he's going to get it. Um, so yeah, track and field. We'll wait for him. See what he's gonna bring. He's excited. He's excited, guys. He's just out there. He ran off in a hurry. He was pretty happy about this. Oh, he has it. The track and field pad. Like that was next level stuff. So like has been innovating since the dawn of time. Even though it was a flop, and that was a flop only because it was uncomfortable. Nintendo did VR gaming too. With the Virtual Boy. You
They need to
remember
come
that?
out. Oh, yeah. Yep. The Virtual Boy 3D and everything. Killed everybody's eyes.
The
Gave everybody
red was
eye cancer.
brutal. The red was brutal, and not only that, but it had to. You couldn't wear it. You had to flop it. You had to, like sit right onto you, like your awkward shape back. I never had it, but I played it all the time at
My cousin
Blockbuster
had
Video.
one. And, I played it a few times. I don't know if they sold it or what, but I only played it a couple times when I went over
It,
there.
and then also, if you think about it, name one. Well, maybe similar to two. I would say NES and SNES. But Nintendo, not only do they innovate with their controllers. Like NES and Super Nintendo are pretty similar for the most part, and Super
Mhm.
Nintendo has more, but every console that they ever made has a different controller.
Yep. Iconic controllers.
PlayStation, PlayStation, when the DualShock controller that was on PlayStation 1 when they came out, DualShock controller, they made the same controller.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, let's face it, the PlayStation 5, yeah, it looks a little bit different, but it's just an updated model of the DualShock controller. It's the
Yeah,
same thing.
it's iconic. You look at it and you know exactly what it is. And that same thing with Xbox.
Same thing with
Obviously
Xbox.
there's a huge difference between the Xbox and Xbox 360 controller, but now they're sticking with the 360 design. But every
Yeah.
single controller for every single console on Nintendo has been a completely and totally new controller, with the exception of the Pro controllers, which are just glorified Xbox controllers. But because Xbox is it, I mean, obviously it's a debated topic, but Xbox learned how to do the controller right. some people think PlayStation has the better controller, but whatever.
I'm kind of I'm an enigma. My favorite controller of all time, the GameCube controller.
I don't like it just because it didn't have the best dual analog. Like after playing Halo and getting used to dual analog,
Yeah,
like
I
that's one
can
of the
see that,
reasons I
but
started playing some of the Metroid games on the Cube, but I didn't want to play them because they weren't dual analog. You still had to, hit the C button to get behind your character, and then you just ran a direction. You couldn't just, move and move and look
right,
at the same time. Like be able to move and look is the most important thing that's ever came out in terms of gaming. But
right.
yeah, of course we all love the abomination of the N64 controller. Oh man,
Uh,
what a terrible! I don't know
now,
who.
when I first came with the controller, I was holding like this. How do you do that? And I was telling myself one day some kid just hold it like this. I'm like,
Yeah,
what? What? Grab it by the dick and then you just play?
yep. Just grab it by the dick. What was
That's
it?
that was my
Mad
first thoughts.
Cats. Mad Cats.
But yeah, I mean,
N64 controller. What was
you're
it?
gonna show the viewers.
Yeah, I'm about to switch it over right now. Nope, wrong button.
Mm.
Share screen, window. Oh, so this was a decent idea doing this with a controller, but that's not the one that I was thinking of. There was maybe it wasn't Mad Cats. Best N64 control.
The Wavebird.
There we go. This
Oh, okay.
is what it should have been in the first place. The super pad. I've got a super pad upstairs right now.
Never used that. Okay, that's interesting. I've never seen
Yeah,
that before.
this is what they should have just released and call it good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot easier.
Yeah, that was the perfect controller. You know,
Because it was hard to transition from the joystick to the D pad.
yeah, exactly. But
So
you can fight me on that one. But that is how the controller should have been made in the first place.
but so I mean innovation is what's kept Nintendo alive for so long. Um because unlike Sony, um Sony's an electronics company. You expect them to have the best console because they're an electronics company. All they do is make electronics.
Hmm.
Um, Nintendo's been a toy company, so they think toy first and innovation.
Yeah,
Um, so with the motion controllers, they started with the in NES, and then that was a prototype, right? And then they had the the Wii. Finally, you did that, and that's why the Wii by the hardcore, I think by the hardcore gamer, the people who loved games and stuff like that, the Wii didn't sell very well,
no,
you know, because I mean, I bought the Wii for one reason. I bought it for Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. I got it day one just so I can play that game.
yeah, I
That's
didn't touch any Nintendo consoles. So we had the N64, and then past that, I didn't own anything until the Switch because everything was just subpar. Like I wanted to have
yeah,
great FPS games, first person shooters, because that's my age grade. Unless you were super nerd guy who played nothing but RPGs and stuff. No, all you played was Halo or Call of Duty. So yeah, I never owned any of those. I only owned PlayStation 2. Well, PlayStation 2, and 64. But that's irrelevant to that part of the conversation. But then I had the Xbox 360, and then from there I moved on to PC
yeah.
with Master Race.
Um, it's funny. I played some PC games on my computer like in the '90s. I mean, I had Nintendo, Super Nintendo, but I played like Commander Keen on the PC.
I only had a couple. I
Um,
had
yeah, but
what was it? Dark Forces, Star Wars. That was great. I don't know. I kind of I need to remember to ask my parents about that because I keep meaning to ask them about the NES. I also want to ask them about Dark Forces, but with our computer that we got, I don't know if it came with it or they bought it. There's this one. It was a magic carpet game. You just flew around and you just shot these little magic fireballs at these weird ball dragons that looked like anal beads.
Right.
It was fun.
So my point with the Nintendo Wii though was the average like gamer that played, at that time Nintendo Wii came out, PlayStation 3 and Xbox and PC were dominating, right? Why did Nintendo Wii sell so good?
Old
Nintendo
people.
Wii, huh?
Old people.
I was gonna say Nintendo Wii did something they didn't do. Nintendo Wii wasn't targeted towards you, wasn't targeted towards me. It wasn't targeted towards the specific hardcore gamer. It wasn't. It was targeted towards a family.
Hmm.
People who did not like video games all of a sudden wanted to buy this game. Why? For one game only. And if you look at the numbers on this console, on this game, are very close to the console because um, they came with the console. And that
Hmm.
game is Wii Sports.
Yep.
It is literally, it sold 82,900,000 copies. It's a The only games beating it, of course, the three legendaries, which are never going to be beat. The three legendary titles: Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Tetris. Like, how is it that Wii Sports is, you know, that high?
Because it came with every console.
It came with every console, and all of a sudden, it had a grandma's being like, "Oh, that looks cool. I want to play tennis." Tennis. Let's face it, that's the only reason people bought it, so they can play Wii Sports Tennis.
Yep.
And it was great.
Yeah. So grandma can move around and not have to worry about breaking a hip.
It was great.
Oh yeah.
Wii boxing. I have a funny story about that. So when I was in college, I had to take a, I was I took health I had to take health maintenance too. I took health maintenance previously, but then I had to take health maintenance too. Health maintenance too wasn't particularly a class. It was a recording of exercises that you had to do. I'm like, shit, I don't want to do exercise. So I saw him there. I'm like, dude, okay, I have to do a total of whatever points. Um, and I was like, because I can't lie about these because it's like on your Christian honor type deal. Um, so I went down the list and I saw boxing. I'm like, oh yeah, here you go. I convinced my teacher, hey, I got this console. It's the Nintendo Wii. Are you familiar with it? He's like, yeah, I've heard of it. I was like, well, they got Wii Sports on there, and it's motion based, right? And I was doing like this, showing them, and I was like, and they got Wii Boxing, and you essentially it's a boxing simulator. You have to duck, dodge, do like that. And they gave you the most points. I only had to play 30 minutes a day, every day, and they gave me the full. It gave me double the points I needed. So
Nice.
then it went into the next week, right? So I got away with doing that. Boxing simulator. And reality, after you got the hang of the game, you just go.
Yeah. Exactly. Just your wrist. That's it.
So, but and then I mean, the innovation kept going for Nintendo. The Wii U, the Wii U is the only Nintendo console I've never owned. Um, the Wii U is actually, I think it's, I think it was the worst selling console of all time. I want to
Oh yeah.
say. I don't know what Nintendo did with that. I think Nintendo on that one, I think they had the idea of the Switch, and they saw PlayStation 4 was coming out, and Xbox One, and the Xbox One, and they're like, we're not ready to release a Switch yet. What do we do? It's like, well, we got this prototype. What do we call it? Oh, let's just call it the Wii U. It's not ready. It's a prototype. Why we want the Switch to be this? I was like, but we got to release something. Everyone's
Mhm.
going to the next system. What are we doing? Oh, fuck it. Let's just do it. I think that's really
Which
what happened.
honestly, it
Because
makes
if
me sad though, because I think conceptually the Wii U is probably, I think, the coolest one, and I think we discussed this on the last podcast. But the fact that you could play your games and then you could look down at your screen, you could look at maps and other things. You don't have to, hit the
It
pause
was it
button.
was a big 3DS.
Yeah, I mean, so you got a few things going there. One, you got the handheld going. You would be in any room as long as you're within a wireless connection. You can play any game you want on, on there. On top of that, you're able to, be able to control the game from the touchscreen, which Xbox came out with an app that kind of started letting you do that. I'm so sad that didn't move forward. Like, honestly, that should be I don't know why the rest of these games aren't allowing you to do that, because
I
that was such a smart idea.
I have a theory. Um, because if you follow Nintendo's trends, every console, even the floppy ones like the Wii U, every console they've ever released, including the handhelds, has been innovative in somehow, some way.
Hmm.
I think the Switch 2 is going. It's just a theory for me. I'm not saying this is happening, people, but it's just an idea. I think the Switch 2 is going to integrate dual screen technology. I think they're going to have little things you slide your Joy Cons into.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? They're going to have a thing like that with a screen that has the spots for your Joy Cons, so then you can slide your Joy Cons in there and you can play and look at the screen on your thing at the same time.
So you think it's going to be like a Wii U thing?
It's gonna be like a Wii U thing. I don't think it's gonna be a Wii U in the sense that one person can play on that, while the other person plays on TV. I think it's gonna be more like a DS. The second part's going, and you can touch it and interact with it. Because the Wii U is like one person can play on TV, one person can play on the handheld. Because that's how they did Hyrule Warriors. It was two player. One person played TV, one person played handheld. You played handheld, you got fucked because it was so laggy, and it was a lower frame rate than the actual TV. So
If they do it the right way, it could be awesome. There's a few VR games up there I've been wanting to pick up, but where you can play a game on either your phone or a console or something. And those people are literally just like running around the map trying not to get killed, and then you have whoever's in VR who's actually going around searching and trying to destroy the other characters. So if they do that, I hope they go that direction. One,
right,
two. I kind of fear that this console, the Switch 2, I've got a feeling that the markets are going to tell them not to be innovative. I think it's just going to be another Switch with better specs.
I hope not, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Nintendo's feeling the pressure of specs.
Hmm.
Um, but I hope Nintendo's never been one for specs. They've been one for innovation. If they continue to innovate, they're going to do it. Um, but the Switch is the best selling console of this era.
Yeah.
It's outsold the PlayStation 5, outsold the the Xbox Series X. But the thing is, they have one thing that those two consoles are really lacking: exclusives.
Hmm.
Granted, PlayStation has some cool exclusives like Spider-Man, God of War, things like that. Where's Xbox? What do they have?
Yeah.
Halo.
Yeah. Halo's even on PC now.
Right, they don't have exclusives. Their exclusives aren't that, and the ones they do, they're not that great. I mean, now they have monstrous companies with them, like Bethesda, and the Starfield is garbage. Um, but then you look at the Switch, man. This like the Switch, they re-released games, and those re-released games have been successful. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe,
Hmm.
they came out on the Wii U. They re-released it. They ported it, and it's now. Do you consider that a racing game? I don't. Yeah, I guess right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a racing game. I mean, obviously, it's
Yeah,
not a sim, but it's a racing game.
it is the best-selling racing game of all time.
Hmm.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Um, so it is. There's that. So the Switch is successful because of their first-party exclusive. All these Mario games have come out. They're just releasing first-party. after first party after first party, and they're not disappointing. So I think that's why the Switch is successful. I mean, Breath of the Wild and then they released Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder. So that's why Nintendo's winning this time around. Besides their innovation, they started off with innovation on the Switch, but it's slowly gone downhill with motion. It doesn't no you don't use it as much. You can, but not really.
Yeah, it's not. I think in order for them to do that, they actually need to start working on like bringing satellites out. Um, like for a VR satellite,
Yeah.
just to get the more accurate movement. But yeah, whatever.
So, and we're and I think that's the conclusion we're coming to. My opinion, they're successful because of iconic characters and uh, innovation. So I'm gonna finish with this one last piece of innovation that I don't know if you've heard about it or seen it or anything like that. Super Nintendo on the Super Nintendo, um, they released this thing. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see here. Share this real quick. Paste it here. Oh, come on. Have you ever heard of this right here? The SNES Satellaview.
No,
This right here, in my opinion, is the ultimate form of innovation. Okay?
I've seen that before. Yeah.
It is the ultimate form of innovation. Let me tell you why. So, Super Nintendo, um, pretty much came with this right here is the Super Nintendo, and only it was Japan only, by the way.
Yeah.
And you attach the Super Nintendo to this thing, and essentially this thing um was a satellite. It was based on they companied with a satellite company, and essentially the games you downloaded the games via satellite, and every week they would come out with a new game, um, and so on. So they did online games with that. So that's what Super Nintendo came out with. Innovation right there.
Hmm.
Like innovation.
The
It was like
N64 had
300.
something comparable to that. They had,
Yeah.
I think, a disc, like a disc player that plugged into the bottom. Well, actually,
Hmm.
the GameCube had something like that as well, where you can play your your Game Boy and your what do you call that? The Game Boy Advance games. You can play DVD, like actual movie DVDs in it.
Yeah.
They had quite a few things you could hook up to it. They also had a
Here, this is what I
modem.
was looking for. See,
Hmm.
um, this is the way it worked. So you hooked up the stuff, and then it just you hooked up to your TV, telling the streams to the satellite, and it just all came trickling down. So the bit stream.
Okay.
That's how it worked. It's interesting. So it wasn't very successful, but uh, innovation. To think that out there in space, because unless they destroyed it, which usually they don't destroy satellites.
No, I mean
It's
they have them burn into atmosphere and then they disintegrate and crash
Yeah,
into the ocean. But yeah,
but
I mean possibly it could still be there.
at one point, Nintendo had a satellite for themselves,
Yep.
so dedicated for Super Nintendo. Now you can get ROMs of those games. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but I mean that's all we really have on why Nintendo is successful. I just hope Nintendo continues to innovate the way they have. Um, because they're really good at it. They show that they're a toy company. They try things no one has ever done. Xbox and PlayStation tried copying their stuff and failed. The PlayStation Move on the PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
That was garbage. And then Xbox tried to one up both of them and release Nintendo Connect.
Yep.
So
Connect was cool though.
it was
Right.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun with it, but yeah, no, it definitely wasn't as accurate as it should have been in order for it to be a truly successful thing. You had to have so much room. I mean, granted, VR is the same thing, but then if you can only see in front of it, so anything you're doing, so if you're turning your side, start moving your hand, it doesn't see it. I don't know. It was a cool concept. That's one of those. If it would have allowed an additional satellite, I think it would have been better. But whatever, it is what it is.
So Nintendo is definitely beloved by all.
Oh yeah,
Parents know who Mario is. They don't have to. They know it's a video game character.
yeah. They know it's
But
a
if you
safe
show,
safe game for the kids to play.
yeah, you show my mom Mario, she knows who it is. You show, oh, who's this character? I don't know. Master, like, oh, it's Master Chief. Oh, I don't know who that is. So, but we know Mario.
Oh yeah.
Sonic is up there too, I think personally.
Agree. I mean, I think everybody knows who Sonic is too. At least now they do. I mean, not my grandma, but my parents do.
So, but anyway, hey, as always, guys, Nerd Fam, just you know, just go out there and like and subscribe. Uh, there'll be a link tree throughout the whole entire podcast. I should mention that in the very beginning
Yeah,
instead at the
or
end.
both. You know.
So, or both, yeah. But there will be a link tree the entire time. So make sure to just follow the link below. That has all our stuff. It has my Twitch, the Surge 1182. I'm not streaming as consistently. I'm just working on some overlays, just trying to make my stream look pretty. Maybe I should focus on playing instead of prettiness. Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at on that. And Tom,
Yeah, no, come check me out at Mobile Ninja Gaming on Rumble. I've also got it on YouTube as well. Again, one of these days I'll actually take the time to sit behind my computer and upload all my shorts, but today's not that day.
today's not that day. I'm actually behind on a short today. I've been doing one every day, but I ran out. I didn't
Yeah.
have time to do content.
Hmm.
So, but oh well.
Yep.
But as always, Nerd Fam, stay classy, and we'll see you next week
Live long and
or
prosper.
next stream.
Yep. See ya.
Deuces.